And welcome back to my spiritual healing journey, Lotus Evolution 369. It's your girl, Lotus on the track, aka Cynthia. So, I want to get on here and basically say that we are going through a lot of changes. Let's just say that. The universe is going through a lot of changes with the solar eclipse and things of that nature, or the lunar, whatever you want to call it, with the eclipse season and with the planetary alignment and things of that nature. There are a lot of things that are changing in and around us and within us. And I'm not going to go too far into that because I just don't want to. But I do want to kind of like get into what I decided to record for today, right? Okay, so there has been a lot of spiritual attacks going on, people attempting to try to still stay latched because cycles are changing, basically, right? Our universe is going through like an upgrade, or our planet is going through an upgrade. So a lot of the things that once were are no longer going to be. A lot of the things that, you know, people were like, oh, these are conspiracies, are actually being proven to be true. A lot of the things or ways that people are now starting to kind of step out is going to be more prevalent. You're going to start seeing more things that just don't seem like to make sense, or might seem taboo, or might seem scary to you. But the fact of the matter is that it's nothing new and under the sun. Like, it's already been here. We've just been brainwashed from seeing it, or we've been, for lack of a better term, whitewashed. I don't want to say that, but that's what I just heard, whitewashed. We've been kind of whitewashed to not like pay attention to our spiritual development and growth. And so I was reading my Bible, as you can see, and I prayed over my Bible and I asked God to just kind of take me to a space in the Bible and allow me to kind of just read. And so I went to Deuteronomy 21 and I was reading it, and I was like, okay, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. What are you trying to show me? What are you trying to explain to me? And then when I went to go shut the book, I looked up at the top and it said captives of war, right? So we've been in some very extremely trying times right now, especially with a lot of the things that are going on in the news that we're seeing. Because I don't really watch the news, but actually I don't watch the news at all. I haven't watched the news in like 10 or 15 years. However, when scrolling on social media and via word of mouth, I've seen a lot of situations where people have been 187, I'll say that 187 because of the color of their skin, or because of, you know, just their beauty or their grace and things of that nature. So it's been a lot of like murders, okay? And I was just like, damn, that's crazy that, you know, why is this happening? And then I thought about it. I was sitting here and I'm like, Lord, what does that have to do with the scripture that you brought me to? Like, help me understand. And so what God was revealing to me, or what God is currently revealing to me, is that we have been captives of war for years. We were captives to war because we did not win the war in terms of when we were first encountered or captured. When this original, I'll say continent or state or whatever the place, whatever you want to call it, we did not necessarily win. We were coaxed into a unfair contract, and that unfair contract was something that we agreed upon because of the barriers in terms of our language or linguistic abilities, and the barrier in terms of our social demise or standing and things of that nature. So it's just like, okay, we agreed to be captives without realizing that we were agreeing to be captives. And when we realized what we had done and we started to fight against it, then it became extremely brutal. And then you talk about you know, the French and Indian War and the different little things that, you know, that were all in our so-called history. It started a long time ago, right? So we've been at war for a very long time, and we have become so desensitized. Thank you. We've become so desensitized to what is going on, to the point where, as though a lot of us have bought into it, and we have begun to mix the races, which I have nothing against mixed race people, because, you know, you were able to find or see the love within that person or that being or that soul. So that's more power to you, because that's grace. You know what I'm saying? That, like, that you can find commonality or find common ground. However, the issue is that it, what's the word I'm looking for? It not necessarily diminishes. I don't want to say diminish, because it's not a negative thing, and I don't want you to take the word diminish as a negative sense. It's more so it waters down your bloodline. Thank you. That was a better way of saying it. It waters down your bloodline, right? So when you mix you think about your genetics, and you think about your heritage, and you think about your history, and you think about where you come from, and you think about, all of your ancestors and your ancestry and things of that nature, the more you mix outside of your, I guess you say, your population, or your damn, what is the word I'm looking for? It's like, okay, the best way I can think about it is like soul tribes, right? You have your tribes, right? You have your groups of people that come from a specific lineage or a specific tribe or a specific area. And the best way I can think about it is like growing up in the environment where I grew up. Like we had like areas where we called it Jewtown, right? And it was because the Jewish population predominantly lived in that area. And the Jewish population predominantly only dealt with Jews. Right, you have some that would sell to the black community or sell to whomever, or become a little bit more open, but predominantly they worked and stick together. When you think about, think about it, like the Chinese stick together, or the Koreans stick together, whether they like it or not. The Vietnamese stick together. And then you think about the religions of it too, because it's more so the religion than anything, not so much the race itself. It's more so the religion that is tying groups of people together because of their beliefs, because of their understandings, right? And so when you think about, the black race, for lack of a better term, or the true race, I say that, when you think about them, we are the only race of people who do not know our identity. We don't really have grounding or footing in our identity, and we left subliminal messages for ourselves in different ways via like our growth and growing up, through superstitions and things of that nature. Growing up, I don't know who I'm talking to, but whoever I'm talking to, think about growing up in your household with your grannies or your Grammys, and if the broom fell, somebody's coming to visit, or don't sweep your feet, or some families don't tie a knot in your bread bag when you put your bread away. When you wash the dishes with bleach, and when you wash your clothes with a cap of vinegar and things like that. It's like little superstitious things. Or when you take a bath every now and then, once a month or every 2 months or so, you put a cap of bleach or a cap of vinegar in the water, and you soak in, and you take a bath in, and you cleanse yourself. It's so many different little things that was like passed down through the years to kind of help us stay attuned, help us stay, connected to our true lineage, our true heritage. But when you really think about it, we've lost ourselves, and we've allowed ourselves to kind of become watered down. We are a watered down race of individuals because we do not know our race identity. We don't know our true identity. We only go according to what we were told. And I'm so over this whole slavery, even though they say it was 400 years of slavery. If it was 400 years of slavery, our country is only 200, 300 years old. So you're saying that slavery existed prior to that, right? So if it was prior to that, what was prior to that? What happened before that? How do we get to this extra 100 years or so of slavery and things of that nature? So I don't really know why Spirit is having me speak on this, because I have qualms about having conversations or discussions like this, because I feel like it ruffles feathers and it makes people angry, or I may not be 100% knowledgeable about the topic itself. Therefore, I don't really want to share too much on something that I personally have not delved deep into. Now, granted, I do love history, and I am somewhat of a history buff to a degree. However, at the same time, I realized reading some of the history books, a lot of things contradicted themselves. A lot of things just didn't make sense. There were things that were done and performed that were not shared in our history books. So it's just why do you keep certain things out of the history books and only put these certain things in history books? They teach you what they want you to know, what they think is important for you to actually have. I want to know the whole thing. I want to know the whole story. So it's just okay, where do we begin? right? Where do we start? How do we pick up the pieces and figure out what it is that we need to do in order for us to be able to progress forward, to be a better group of people, a better population of people, a better race of people, more grounded and secure and stable within ourselves, right? More grounded, secure, and stable within who we are and who we were created or designed to be. And so I was sitting in my chair and I was praying and I was like, God, I just want to thank you for waking me up this morning and starting me on my way. And I just want to understand, what is it that you need me to know today? What is it that you need me to pay attention to today? And he took me to Deuteronomy 21. And in that chapter, in the beginning of the chapter, it talked about a man being slain in his own land, and his land being taken from him and quartered or dispersed amongst the surrounding counties or the surrounding people or captors. Captors, and being able to divide with a specific device or within a specific ritualistic way. So they not only did they kill this man on his land, and his blood went into the earth itself. He already marked that land with his life, with his actual living essence, his energy, his being, like his liquid, right? So he stained the earth. And his demise, however, is still his earth. It's still his land. It's still where he came from. So the scripture also says, like, from the dirt we came, from the dust we came, from the dust we shall return. So it's just like, okay, I came from the dirt, I was formed from the earth, therefore I go back to the earth, I return back to the earth from whence I came. So it's like, okay, he met his demise in his field, and I was like, okay, what are you trying to explain to me? What are you trying to take me to? Like, am I just reading over this, or am I reading, like, I was so just confused. 11:44 when I looked up just now, I was confused, like, God, I don't understand why you have me reading this. Like, what is the significance of this? And so as I continued to read through the verse, they talked about how they took not a fatted calf, but they took an animal. I can't remember specifically the animal. I think it was a cow or something of that nature. They took the creature and they took it down into the valley and they slaughtered the creature, right? And they beheaded the creature, and they allowed for all of the increments and things to be spilled upon the earth and things of that nature. And then they took and they washed their hands of it. And that symbolized them 12:21 and then 12:22. They took their hands and washed their hands of it, and they looked away as they were washing to say, I washed away the things that do not matter. I no longer see the blood that has been spilled upon this land, or the blood that was spilled by my hands, because it wasn't so. So it's like, I'm not acknowledging. If I don't acknowledge what I did, if I don't acknowledge what I've said, if I don't acknowledge, or I don't take accountability for this particular action, then I'm not responsible for it. Right? And that happens a lot in society. There are things that are done all the time, and it's always, well, prove it. If I don't take accountability for it, then it didn't happen. If I don't own it, it's not mine, right? And it goes both ways in the sense where, like when you think of like the crimes that are committed, if a person says, I didn't commit this crime, they're not taking ownership or accountability of that particular action, therefore they're not owning it. So it's just floating there for someone to figure out, okay, well, who did it? And some people take it upon themselves in terms of like our government or our political system or our police system, right? They take it upon themselves to do the investigation, our litigation system, right? So they take it upon themselves to actually do the messy work, to sort out whose stuff is what, and then to give it to whoever they're supposed to give it to, right? So I'm getting a lot of downloads right now too. It's like, I just feel like I gotta just do a reading. I'm getting so many downloads. So, please let me just get this part out first, and then I'll pull all the cards that need to be pulled. 14, please. So it's like, if I don't take ownership of this action, if I don't take ownership of this behavior, then it does not affect me. It's not going to have the same effect on me because I'm not accountable for this action or this behavior. I'm not claiming that I did or didn't do it. I'm relinquishing, Lord, I can't get my words out. I'm relinquishing ownership of this thing, whatever it is, right? And so it's like when you choose not to acknowledge your part in a situation, right? it goes both ways in a sense, I guess I'll say. You can elevate from it, or you can decline from it, right? And then you can elevate it from it in a positive way too, because like, okay, let's slow down. You can elevate it from it in a negative sense because you know your truth, or you know what's really real on the inside. No one knows what you know because no one is you. You are your own entity. You're your own being, your own body, your own universe. Universe. You are your own being. Nothing else exists inside of you besides you, unless you allow someone to come into your space. Okay? So please stick with me, because I feel like this is about to be... I feel like I'm losing somebody, but okay. You are your own universe. We live in the multiverse. The multiverse is all of us walking around. We are our own entities. We are our own beings. Okay? Now, with that being said, when you understand, not understand, when you understand, meaning understanding, meaning the process of comprehending one's self, right? The true essence, or the grounding or rooting within one's self, the identity of one's self, right? When you are grounded in that, and you are grounded in who you truly honestly know who you are, or where you come from, it does not matter what anyone outside of you says to you. It's not you. Confirmation. It's not you. You know who you are. No one else can tell you who you are unless you allow them. It's what you choose to believe on, right? And when you think about religion, it's what you choose to believe on. What are you believing is the truth? What are you allowing yourself to be fed? Okay? Now, when you don't take ownership of your truth, you allow someone else to dictate the narrative. And that is what I'm talking about when I talk about us being brainwashed or whitewashed in our society. We as the black race, I feel like this is going to be a very controversial racial video, and I really don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or cross any boundaries or any lines. That's not my intention. I just want to speak my truth, okay? And my opinion. And opinions don't always have to be valid. You feel what I'm saying? An opinion is not like an asshole. Everybody has one, right? It's my opinion. It does not have to be your opinion. In my opinion, from what I've been able to see, from where I have been able to grow up and evolve and change from, or go through an experience in my life, I have watched our race of people constantly be degraded or become so accustomed to degrading ourselves by way of what we believe, and what we allow, what we accept. We do not fight back against certain things and principalities, and when we do fight back, we're not fighting back with the full knowledge of our own strength, or our own awareness, or our own power. Our race of people don't stick together, and that's a problem. Even when you think about when you go overseas, and because I've heard so many different things where they say Africans can't stand Americans, and Africans don't like the black Americans, or the black. We're not you, and you're not us. Your land and where you evolved and where you have grown from and where you have emerged is not the same. We are not even technically the same race of people anymore when you think about it, to be honest. Many of us are originated from here. We are Aborigines, and people don't understand that word either, because they always go back to the past of what an Aborigine is. If you were born here, you're an Aborigine, bro. You was born here. You came from here. You didn't come from no other country. So when people like, go back to Africa, go back. Bitch, I was born here. Where am I going to go back to? I'm going to go back where I came from. I'm coming from my land. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, right? They sang that fucking song, right? They sang that song, and we sang that song with them, and we agreed. We gave our power away. We gave our power away. And we started to believe in the nonsense. We don't see our true beauty, our true essence of who we really are, because we're so busy comparing it to someone or something else. We're not looking inwardly at who we truly honestly are to be able to actually activate our gifts, right? Or to shine, or to be prevalent. We're too busy fighting each other over frivolous, nonsensical things that don't make sense. Why are we fighting over a corner that we don't even fucking own? Why are we pushing drugs into our neighborhoods and our environments? Why do we have a liquor store on damn near every flipping corner? Why do we have pop-up churches all over the place? Scattered. It's like scatterbrain, right? It's almost like when you think of what is the word I'm fucking looking for? It's like a scatter plot, right? When you think about a scatter plot, right? There are different ways to read the scatter plot, right? Because by way of how the information falls, right? The more the information or the more agreeing, you'll notice that the lines or the dots will fall more in a more not necessarily congruent. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's not necessarily congruent. It's not what I'm looking for. It's like a mix, right? So when you think about a mix, right? A mix can be, okay, because we have heterogeneous, homogeneous, and then we have just scattered, right? Where it's just mixed, right? And so it's like when you think about a scatter plot, you think about a graph, right? You have all these dots, right? It's data that's being recorded and stored, right? By way of whatever way they're choosing to search it or observe it, right? And a lot of times you'll find that majority of the black community, we have a line that we may navigate back and forth, but it's dispersed. It's not so much straight linear. Whereas in some cultures you go, it's straight linear because everybody's on the same thing, everybody's on the same wavelength, everybody's working together, everybody's a team. And I'm sorry because I feel like I'm confusing you guys in terms of like how I'm explaining this, but however, it's just like, yo, why do we not work together? Why do we not, why are we not on the same page? What is the disconnect that we are experiencing? Why are we so quick to react instead of actually responding? Right? Why are we so quick to pop off and resort directly to anger as opposed to looking for some level of compromise or understanding? And a lot of times, and it's crazy because I see it every day. I work with children, I work with adults. I see it every day. People have conflict with each other, and they don't even understand why the fuck they got conflict. They just feel some kind of way because they didn't look at the situation, and they don't even know. And I talk to my kids about it because a lot of it is assumption. We're assuming. Where's the assumption coming from, though? Where is the assumption coming from? Where do we get that initial assumption, period? And how do we erase it and start fresh or start new, right? Because what I've learned is that a lot of times when people are at odds with each other or we're butting heads with each other, it's because we don't fully understand or understand each other, right? Our race is probably the only race that's like really been in survival mode. We've been in survival mode. Yes, we still have a vibrational frequency of connectivity where we hone in. So like if you from this hood and you go over in this hood, y'all still have some level of community in the sense that you know how to adjust or adapt to that vibrational frequency that's in that area, right? So it's like if I was living here in say I lived in Virginia, right, and I was in the hood in Virginia, and I went and visited from the hood in Virginia the hood in New York, right? I'm not having no beef with nobody in New York, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the hood in New York, but it's a different vibe. I know how to adapt. It's a feeling. It is a feeling. And that I don't know how to describe that besides that. It's a feeling. We still have the feeling of one another where we can sense one another. However, we're not pulled together. We're not unified in a sense where as though we're working together on one accord. And that's because we don't have a full common ground. We fight and we argue and we say things, but we're not consistent. We don't follow through, right? And that's another thing that I've witnessed or I've paid attention to in terms of our actual races and the things that we, I don't know why my brain just went left. But I don't know what we're going to do Like you think about let me see. It's no. We're captive in our own lane, and we're not fighting back because we don't understand how to fight back. We are in spiritual warfare. I feel like I'm about to cry. We are in spiritual warfare. Our race is dying. And I don't think it's fair. I don't. Because love goes a long way. And love is the key, yes. Love is the key. However, authenticity. Love without authenticity is void. And we don't have love. Where's the love? I'm hearing that song, where is the love? Where's the love for our people? And I didn't want to get into this. I don't even know why God had me come on here and speak on this. But it's just like, yo, why can't we love each other? Like, what is going on in this world that we are so divided? Why are we so divided? Why does color even matter? Why does it matter if I'm white, black, Puerto Rican, Haitian, or Vietnamese? Why does it matter? Why does that matter? Why is that significant? Who put that out there into the atmosphere that it was important for us to know, right? Like, or to have this division? Why does it matter? Why does it matter if I'm Protestant or if I'm Catholic or Buddhist? Why does that matter? Why is that significant? We all believe in the same thing, pretty much, to a degree. We all have commonalities. Excuse me. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to spit. Like, I don't understand. Why does it matter? Why do we feel like we had to conquer another group of people? Like, why do we feel like there's a divide? Why? And then, like, if we are going to be a group of people, why aren't we sticking together? What happened to us? What happened to us? Yeah. Okay. I don't have anything else to say in regards to this. I'm going to leave it alone. Like I said, totally left for me because I don't talk about things like this. Even though it bothers me, it really, really, really fucking bothers me. It really bothers me. And I'm really working on myself to just be a better version of myself, right? My daughter is getting ready to go to a mixed populated school, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is why these things are coming up, right? I want her to be secure within herself, right? I want her to be grounded. I want her to love herself. I want her to stand up, stand tall, and not let anyone or anything stop her. And I realized I have fears, and I'm like, you're not supposed to operate out of fear. Like, what the fuck is this? Where's this coming from? Okay, it's something new. Right? All right? You have to know how to conquer that fear, though, right? You can't give that fear power over you. And that is why I have the conversations I have and I say the things I say. Am I perfect? Hell to the fuck no. I am not. I'm working to open my eyes to see things differently, to understand the world differently, to see people differently, and to erase and take away the learned behavior, the imposters that have come to run and try to attempt to rule over my life. I will not give you that power. That power is mine. And that's part of why I say you have to be accountable. If you don't take ownership of your actions, you give someone else the power to take ownership over you. And that was the whole gist of where I was going from jump. When I think about that scripture, Deuteronomy 21, and I'm talking about the whole chapter, and I didn't even go through the whole chapter, but I read majority of the chapter. But I started at Deuteronomy 21, and I read from verse 1 all the way, I want to say to, is that verse 5? No? Okay, hold on. Okay, so I actually read verses 1 through 9, and that's where I got a lot of that from. I just read verse 10, so when I do my reading, I may pull from verse 10, okay? But it's just like, yo, that particular part of the message jumped out to me. Now, there are other things within that message that I'm probably going to go back and I'm going to study that actual section. I'm going to do some research in that section because it was something important about that came out to me that needed to be said, right? And I'm debating if I want to do a separate video. Yes, I am. I'm going to do a separate video. I'm going to end this here. Always remember to thine own self be true. Authenticity is your key. Right? Authenticity is your key. I'm going to say that again. Authenticity is your key to yourself. It unlocks many doors, okay? And I'm writing it down. Authenticity is your key to yourself. And it opens many doors to you. And a good book that will help you understand more of where I'm talking about or what I'm talking about, where I'm going, is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I've mentioned this book before. It's either the Four Agreements or the Fifth Agreement. It's one of them. I actually gave the book to my son. I did. I let my son hold the book. But it talks about your understanding and like reprogramming your mind, right? It talks about reprogramming and reteaching your soul, or reteaching you, reparenting you, right? We grew up through adversity. We grew up through trauma. We grew up through socio-economic defeats and declinations and things of that nature. We grew up in survival mode. We grew up with lack of permissions to do certain things, right? And all that psychological information was downloaded into you from that by way of your lineage, your generational line. All the things that they've experienced, they taught it to you, or they attempted to avoid it or attempted to fix it to some degree. Excuse me, those of us or those family members or those generational persons who did the work. Right? They chose to pass certain things down. Like, that's where traditions come from. Word of mouth comes from. Being able to say and speak things down to the next generation. 33:13 on the clock. You are who you are because of who you were born to be. However, your authenticity is your key. Meaning, the more you get to know who you are, based off of what you have, and I'm not talking about material possession, I'm talking about what you have internally, what you have mentally, inside, psychologically, what you have in terms of yourself, right? Your understanding, what you have. Ooh, I don't know what the hell just happened, but it's like knowing your worth, right? By way of what you have, you'll know how to navigate in a way that's best for you. You'll take ownership of yourself, right? And we need to do that. We need to take ownership of ourselves. We need to take ownership of our actions. We need to take ownership of our behaviors. Like I keep saying, be the change you want to see in the world. I'm talking to myself too. I am not perfect. I am authentic, meaning I speak my truth. Does it mean my truth is right? Hell no, not all the time, no. No, I have my perspective, my way or my view of seeing things, right? Until I am enlightened to something different, that means I am ignorant to the rest. I'm ignorant to it. I don't know what else is out there. That's part of like moving into the unknown. When you don't know something, it's proper to ask a question. And when you ask the question, I see it. If I'm asking the question, I want to answer. I'm asking the question because I generally do not know. I genuinely do not fully understand what you're attempting to say, what you're attempting to share, what is being presented to me. I need to understand how to process this information. What are you saying to me? It doesn't make sense. Can you elaborate, please? Can you give me more detail? Can you paint a picture for me so that I can see? So you have to learn how to talk. And our race of people, we've been traumatized not to talk because of or by way of retaliation. When we speak out, we gotta fight. Why do we have to fight just to share our word? If we have the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, what am I fighting for? I should be able to say what the fuck I need to say, and you be okay, whether you like it or not. That doesn't give you the right to physically put your hands on me or to take my life. I should be able to live how I need to live on my own. Like I'm not asking you for anything. I'm not trying to take nothing from you. I'm just doing my thing. I'm in my own little bubble, my own little world. Why do you have to be concerned with what I have going on over here? It's levels to it, right? And it's just like, yo, I don't get it. I'm really, really attempting to just wrap my mind around all of it. All of it. It's a lot to process. And my way of understanding is really starting to change. I'm waking up even more, right? I'm maturing even more. I'm evolving even more. I'm understanding even more. I'm taking more time to myself because I'm realizing the more I take time to myself, the better I am. Like, what the fuck? People are like, why you isolate? Why not? Why should I be? Why should I integrate? I don't want to integrate with you. I don't. And it's not because I don't love you or that I don't care about you or care about people. I don't want to integrate with a group of people that are not aware of themselves. I don't want to integrate with a group of people that don't own themselves, that are not authentic. I want to be with more people that are authentically them. I want to be with people that recognize and see that there's still beauty here in this planet, on this earth, and that we can love one another. And I know that might sound like a fairy tale and things of that nature, because we have so many people that have so many different opinions of things, right? I know that there is common ground somewhere in this place. I feel it, so I know that it's true. So it's like, how can we find it? What do we need to do that we shine light to those that need to see it, right? That can call us. It's like a beacon of hope to come home, baby, come home. Like, yo, I'm getting so many downloads. I'm gonna stop this here because I'm going off on a tangent a little bit. I just want us to understand, who are we? Who are you authentically? Like, when are we going to take ownership of ourselves? Like, when are we going to take our authenticity or step into our authenticity and be in our power? I want us to move in our worth. We deserve it. Like, know your worth. Know who you are. What she say in Black Panther? Show them who you are, right? And he was like, God. Lord, forgive me, y'all. I told y'all I was getting ready to go live, so let me just stop right now. I'm gonna end this video here. Remember, always to thine own self be true. Peace, love, and life. Peace and share. I'm gonna say peace.